This beautiful part of the countryside was the inspiration for one of the great books of the 19th century. It's a fictional tale of romance and dastardly deeds, and its heroine's name became synonymous with this lovely landscape. Find out who she was and where I am in just a moment.
Today I'll be helping a dynamic pair of young retirees find a remote country retreat. And we're off to a cracking start with our first house.
If you were to design a really nice, perfect country house, it would be like this.
And our mystery property steals the show before they even step inside.
This house is absolutely awesome, and I don't really care what it looks like inside. It's good enough for me.
Today we're in North Devon, and this is Lorna Doone country, named after the famous novel by R.D. Blackmore, published in 1869. Lorna, of course, is the central character, and she is kidnapped right at the beginning of the book by the wicked Doone clan, and then through the twists and turns of the plot over years, she falls in love with a local farmer before the dramatic climax where her true identity is revealed. Now, the book was such a hit that it's transcended its fictional roots and become synonymous with this beautiful landscape. In fact, it's even called Lorna Doone country on most modern maps. But North Devon is more than just Lorna. The dramatic landscape, beautiful villages and outdoor lifestyle makes Devon the #1 place to retire. In fact, almost a quarter of the population are retirees, which is 31% above the UK average. And that has an impact on house prices, of course. A detached house here costs around £296,000, which is about £40,000 above the national average. Still, retiring or not, there are beautiful properties to be had. Take a look.
£295,000 could buy you this 3-bedroom thatched cottage in Colebrook. With many period features, such as a wood-burning stove, natural wood flooring and exposed timbers, it also offers a pretty garden. This 4-bedroom property in Crediton is on the market for £575,000. It has plenty of character, featuring a charming stone-built Inglenook fireplace in the sitting room and a high-spec kitchen which is topped off by a range cooker. The bedrooms boast exposed beams and whitewashed walls. And outside, there's stunning countryside views. Or for a wallet-stretching £735,000, this 5-bedroom property in Winkley could be yours. The interior is full of rustic charm, and it offers far-reaching views towards Dartmoor, as well as 2 self-contained holiday cottages.
A lovely spread of Devon's finest properties, but who are the lucky couple who are planning to move here? Let's meet them.
Former business consultant Dominic and Spanish-born translator Plathy moved into their 4-bedroom house in York in 1997. And a year later, they tied the knot at Gretna Green. Having achieved their ambitions with successful international careers, they've now given up work and are ready to start the next chapter of their lives.
This house means a lot to me because I have decorated it all. I've learned how to DIY through all the little projects in this house, so I am going to be very sad to leave it, but it's time to move on.
Well, we've actually both taken early retirement, and we have a lot of free time on our sides. There's a lot of hobbies we'd like to pursue, and we thought now is a really good time to move.
Their pastimes are many and varied, and they're going to need a lot of space for each one.
Well, as you can see, I'm into a lot of different crafts like mosaic making and sewing. So everything takes up so much space that I would love a room just for my things, so I don't have to tidy up every single time.
This gym I built about a year ago. I do a lot of kickboxing, and I train in here pretty much every day. So wherever we go, I definitely want to have a place like this. It's a lot of fun.
The countryside is a particular draw for Plathy, as it reminds her of her childhood in Spain.
We would like to move to the country because I've got some dreams about returning to my roots. I grew up in a farm in Spain, and I love working the garden and possibly creating a meadow and rescuing animals and all that. I've done a lot of rescuing in the past, so I'd like to carry on doing that, but I can't do it here because I haven't got enough space.
After viewing over 100 properties online, they've narrowed their search area down to North Devon and have a good idea what they'd like us to find them.
The ideal home would have minimum 2 bedrooms, ideally 3 or 4. It would be in a private valley with a little bit of land around it, and Quite a peaceful place where there was no possibility of any developments around it. It would ideally be, I guess, maybe 5 to 10 miles from the nearest town or village. We'll consider anything that's detached, whether it's a character property, whether it's boring or interesting.
Church.
Yeah, we do like churches, yeah. People are often...
A cemetery.
Yeah, people are often put off by churches with cemeteries, but...
I look after the
What
ghosts.
quieter place could you get?
Well, that's plenty to go on. And as cash buyers who can move quickly, there's no time to waste. Luckily, the finances are all set.
The budget for the property is £500,000. If the property was £500,000 and there was some renovation work to be done to it, we would probably fund that separately.
Dominic and Plathie have decided they'd like a house in North Devon, so we're focusing our search in the countryside around Barnstaple and Tiverton. We've got some very impressive properties to show them, and I'll be asking them to guess the price before I reveal it. Our last property is, as ever, the Mystery House, which I think will really push their imaginations to the limit.
Welcome to North Devon. Here we are. I've spared you the rain by keeping you inside. Neither of you have actually been to North Devon.
Well, we've been through it, but we've never actually been to spend any time in it. But we do have a lot of friends who have lived and worked or holidayed here. And when we were looking at the whole of the UK, we simply asked for advice, and the constant theme was, for what we want to do, you want to go to North Devon. The place we're living now is our 25th home. So I think it's about time we actually settle down.
Gosh, so not much pressure on us then to find the forever
the dream home. It is a dream home.
There are lots of beautiful properties here with lots of land. That's not a problem. But we need to look at the houses, so let's get going.
So with a budget of £500,000 and some additional funds for renovation work, Dominic and Plathie are seeking a secluded property with 3 or 4 bedrooms, a craft room for Plathie, space for a kickboxing gym for Dominic, and plenty of land for growing plants and keeping animals. We're heading towards the village of Cheriton Fitzpaine, which is just 10 miles south of Tiverton. The village has many 15th century houses, including the longest thatched house in England. Amenities include a pub that's been serving the residents for the past 150 years. Situated in a fairly remote location as requested, our first property is a traditional farmhouse, dating back to the 1850s.
Here we are. House number 1.
This is fabulous.
That's like a jigsaw puzzle house, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I think it looks beautiful. It's great. It's got character, it's personality.
Yeah, I'm happy. This
And
is
you
nice.
can hear the birds singing. That's great.
How do you feel about thatch? Because that wasn't on your wish list.
No, it wasn't, but I think it's something that gives character to the house and is a plus, if anything.
Yeah, it's a lovely country house.
Well, I'm glad they liked the thatch surprise we sprung on them. And the inside of this property very much continues on the old world theme.
Come into the main sitting room.
Oh, it's a real country feel in here, isn't it? It's lovely. You've got the stone fireplace.
Yeah.
You've got the log-burning fire. Ceilings are a little bit low, but I'm not massively tall, so that's not a problem.
Are you keen on the beams?
I'm not a fan of beams, certainly dark beams, because they tend to make a house look more claustrophobic. But there's a really nice country house feel.
I love the thick walls and the colour of the walls.
Also on the ground floor is a cosy snug area, perfect for those winter nights, and a definite contrast to the bright feel of the garden room, which I expect they'll find very uplifting.
Oh, wow! Look
that's
at this.
nice. We do like that.
This is an older extension, but you can see it's in keeping with the beams, but much, much higher, much, much lighter.
This sort of beams we love. And you can look out onto the garden, you see the trees.
Well, I was thinking
Very
this could be your
beautiful.
craft room.
Absolutely, yes. I'll
Because
take
you've got
this
lots of light, so you don't have to squint.
one. Yes.
And you can put in some nice storage.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
With Plathie's craft room sorted, we're heading past the dining area and onto the kitchen.
Kitchen is the heart of the home.
Oh, very cute. It's a baby blue.
Baby blue, eggshell blue throughout.
One
yes.
of my favourite colours,
Oh, excellent.
as you can see.
It's a very modern looking kitchen. Surfaces are beautiful.
Yeah, lovely hardwood surfaces which need oiling because of twice a year.
It's the right size for us as well, because we're not massive cooks, so we don't need a huge kitchen. So for me, this is ideal.
I don't know how you guys dine. Do you dine sort of more formally?
If we were to live in a place like this, we would almost certainly have breakfast, have meals here.
Quaint little space.
And you've also got a shower room at the end and a little sort of utility cupboard with all your washing machines and stuff in.
I guess if you were to design a perfect country house, it would be like this. It's
got
very
bags of
picturesque.
character.
And there's a lot of attention to detail.
Well, so far it's ticking all the boxes.
Really? So downstairs is pleasing to you both?
Very much so, yeah.
With the downstairs rating so highly, can the upstairs match up? Off the landing, there's a family bathroom with a freestanding bath, along with 3 very characterful bedrooms, all in keeping with the pastoral charm of this house.
Mind your head, this is a low door sill.
Perfect for me.
That's
I had
a problem for you,
I
Black.
had to duck for that one.
So this is the master bedroom.
Okay.
What do you think?
It's not huge, but it's enough for us. We don't have a lot of things.
Very
so
consistent with the rest of the house. I think it's lovely. I like the wood cupboards. It's very quirky. It's got a lot of character. I think it's exactly what we're looking for.
And amazing views. Look, you can wake up and look at the horses.
Oh,
Look over the valley.
look at that.
Beautiful.
Oh my word, look at
Horses.
the horses.
The horses, yeah.
And all the trees.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
Absolutely. Wow.
For our buyers, the outside of this property is just as important as the interior, due to Plathy's dreams of creating a meadow, doing some plant conservation and keeping rescued animals. But I think she'll find there's more than enough space for all of that out here. And we might even be able to discover somewhere for Dominic to indulge in his sporting pastimes too.
Here's your kingdom of the rescued animals. 3/4 of an acre. Is it big enough?
That's big enough, isn't it?
It is.
And behind you, you may have noticed this discreet building, which is a brand new wooden timber structure with the wooden cladding and a tiled roof. But this is specially designed as a kickboxing.
Excellent.
Yeah. So this is the land, this is the garage, this is the property.
Okay.
How much do you think it all costs?
Well, I'm going to opt for 499.
I'm going to say 450.
450.
Yes.
Plucked out of the air, I guess.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, to be honest, this property is a little over your budget.
Okay.
It's on at 525.
Right.
But they're very keen to move, so why not offer 500? And it's a sticky market right now in the countryside, so they might well accept that.
That's great.
I'd like you to explore a bit more, and then I'll meet you out front once you've looked around, and then we can move on.
All right.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
So, at £525,000, but with offers potentially considered around their maximum budget of 500, this property meets many of the demands on their wish list. It has 3 bedrooms, a bright room that's ideal for Plathy's craft work, a ready-made gym space for Dominic's kickboxing, and plenty of land for rescuing animals and gardening adventures.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely perfect. Especially the beams, you can have punch bags, kick bags from the rafters.
Yeah.
It's massive, it's really good.
Well, this house is really great. It ticks a lot of the boxes. I didn't think you were going to find so many features and so many quirky things. So right now, if to sum it up in Spanish, I would say, esto es muy impresionante, which means it's very impressive.
It's a beautiful house. We love the little rooms, the cozy rooms, and you know, some of the beams, we like some of the wood. The garden's beautiful. I think it's absolutely wonderful.
I have to rouse them from this one, which is a good sign. Guys! Which means they're immersed in the property, which means they really like it.
Hiya!
Hello! I'm going to have to tear you away, I'm afraid.
Okay.
We've got another property to look at.
Brilliant. Let's go.
Once they've moved to the country, Plathy is planning to work with rescued animals. So we arranged for her and Dominic to see the work of a local animal charity, the North Devon Animal Ambulance.
Hello. Hello.
Based on the outskirts of Barnstaple, the charity operates out of premises provided by a local vet free of charge and is funded by a legacy from a supporter. It's been running as a 24/7 emergency service since it was set up by founder and ex-RSPCA ambulance driver Diana Lewis.
Well, how long ago did you start this centre?
8 years ago, the charity came into being with the help of local media and the public in North Devon. All of these animals, and I am talking hundreds of animals a year, all their care is done by the volunteers.
Yeah.
I do the easy bit. I do the collection, the picking up, the ambulance, and then it's over to the vets and the volunteers.
So how many calls do you get a day?
On an average 20 to 30 calls a day, and on an average we collect approximately 4 to 5 domestic animals, dogs, cats, rabbits, a day regularly, and the others are wildlife.
Diana's first job today involves a kitten that was rescued just a few days ago.
The vets at Winkley rang me and said that the rest of the litter had died and there was no mother to look after them, that they thought probably it wouldn't live. However, it's a very feisty little person, as you can see, and it is absolutely determined to live.
Diana, what is this you're feeding?
It's whole goat's milk. There are special milks, powdered milks, but it's easier to have the whole goat's milk.
So you got to feed it every 2 hours or so,
About
don't
every
you?
2 hours with a little and often is better than long periods in between. That's a good baby. Now, if you'd like to hang on
Yes,
to it,
please.
Blackie, I will
Look at this.
actually go and get his hot water bottle.
All right.
With the kitten fed, another call comes in for Diana to deal with, and we head off to her first rescue of the day.
We're going to Christchurch in Bear Street, Barnstable, to rescue a seagull that is trapped in a courtyard that they're very concerned about.
What's your plan of action then, Diana?
Well, it's quite simple. Just, I believe that that's a dead end round the corner, hopefully, and we'll just usher him round there and I'll pick him up and pop him in the box, ready to go to the vets.
Good luck.
All right, matey. All right. Okie dokie. Okay, sweetie. All right, puppet.
The North Devon Animal Ambulance has around 60 volunteers in total, ranging from carers and fundraisers to an admin committee and those that deal with the rehoming of animals. So plenty for Plathie and Dominic to get involved in once they make their move.
There we are, old chap.
We've travelled 3 miles southeast of Barnstable to the village of Landkey, home to around 2,300 residents. It has a 15th century church, along with the usual amenities of pubs, school and a post office. Set in an idyllic edge of village location, our second property is a former barn converted in the 1990s.
So house number 2. This is a very different offering. As you see, we've come up a very long private road to get here. Because this is the house, but most excitingly, this is your land.
Oh, my goodness.
The paddock right down to the trees where the river is.
Wow.
That's a fantastic view, isn't it?
A river runs through it, or along the edge of it.
How much land is there for this?
5 acres.
5 acres.
All of this is your property. What are your first impressions?
I like it.
Oh,
I like the remoteness of it. I like all the woodlands coming up, very magical. And I like the paddock right in front. It's a lot of positives there.
So it's all just ready for you.
Ready to go.
Right, when can we move in?
Maybe you should look at the house first.
The huge amount of land certainly fits the bill for Plathie and Dominic, but can the inside of this conversion do the same?
A great big room.
Great big room.
It's a much more modern house, but it still has a lot of character, a lot of quirkiness.
I like it. Yeah, I like the open space and the fact that it opens up to the garden.
Actually, if we step down here, you can see how everything is built around your view.
Yes, fabulous.
Now that's exceptional, isn't it? You can see the whole valley from here. I can see why they built this.
I can even see myself sitting here, even in the rain.
There's not a lot of space downstairs. There's this big space, and then there's the kitchen space the other side.
Now, the kitchen isn't the most important room in the house for these two, but I think they'll appreciate the social aspect of this one.
Here we have the kitchen, much more open plan.
This is a big kitchen. It's certainly bigger than ours.
Yes, it is.
Again, it's more modern than the last one. Breakfast bar here. There's obviously a dining table. And there's a lot of light. I do like the fact there's a lot of light coming in. Windows all the way around on 3 sides.
And then you've got French doors that go out, and there's a nice kind of courtyard terrace at the back.
One of the things that I find interesting with this property as well as the last is that the rooms are the length of the house, or the width of the house. That's something we haven't experienced before. We tend to get a mix of rooms, but because these are barn conversions, they are quite narrow.
Upstairs off the landing are 4 rather generously sized bedrooms, one of which is currently being used as a study, not just for the cat. There's also a bright family bathroom, but we're heading for the biggest room, which has an ensuite shower room attached.
Again, the whole width of the building.
It's a nice surprise with the sloping roof. Quite unusual, isn't it?
It's also unusual to have the windows so low down.
Yeah.
But again, looks like you wake up in the morning, without even getting out of bed, you see the view of the valley.
So do you like to have a big bedroom, or are you happy to have a small bedroom and use this as a work room?
Yeah, I think I would have a desk where the light's coming in.
I do think this would be perfect for Plathy's crafts and things that she does like that. There's
Yes.
so much
Yeah, the light.
and the view.
To inspire you.
With the bedroom confirmed as Plathy's craft area, we just have to find a space for Dominic's kickboxing gym. So we're heading outside to show him what's on offer.
Ta-da!
Oh, my goodness.
Now,
This is big.
this is big. It's a huge iron-framed garage, which we thought would be perfect for your gym.
Well, absolutely,
Absolutely,
wouldn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
It's perfect size. It might need a little bit of work, but it certainly could make a really nice place to train.
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff.
So we thought this was a really good addition to your...
Oh, absolutely,
Project
yeah.
space.
A hidden gem.
A hidden gem indeed, but what does it all cost?
Back into the lovely valley.
Yeah.
Let's get a little view of the house, and let's talk money.
Yes.
How much does 5 acres of prime North Devon countryside, and a house, obviously, and a big garage cost?
Well, it is very impressive, especially the land and the view. The property itself I was less attracted to, so I'm actually going to say less than last time. I'm going to say 450.
And I'm going to say 410,000.
Right, well, I think you'll be surprised and disappointed to hear that it is actually over budget again. This is on at £50 under £550,000.
Okay, right.
So I know that's above your asking price, but it hasn't been on more than about 6 months, so maybe there's room to manoeuvre.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you valued it a little less.
Yes. Yes. I wasn't expecting to be over 500,000.
Well, have a wander around, scratch your
Yeah.
heads,
Okay.
and then we'll see you at the front.
Right, see you in a bit.
Thank you.
It might be way over their budget at a fraction under £550,000, but this property does have plenty to offer. Set in a remote location, it has 4 bedrooms, a bright, spacious craft area for Plathy, a huge garage that would work as a gym, and there's 5 acres of land to indulge their outdoor interests.
The house is very impressive. Thinking about the land itself, if Plathy was going to keep rescue animals on it, we would have to think about building a shelter. The land is very steep, so you know there's a few complications there.
This house, it's got some fantastic features, but unfortunately it's a little bit overpriced, so we'll have to think about it quite hard and compare and make a decision at the end.
Well, that's our lot for the day.
Okay.
Should we go and digest
Yes.
all that we've seen?
Yes.
Okay.
As dusk falls over the North Devon countryside, it marks the end of the first day of our property search. Dominic and Plathy have both taken early retirement and are looking to move from busy York to the rural haven of North Devon, where they're planning to indulge in their favourite pastimes, which include animal rescue for her and kickboxing for him. So far we've seen 2 stunning properties, but coming up our mystery house more than lives up to its name.
You have to classify this as the mystery house of all mystery houses.
And I get a taste of some local produce on a famous Devonshire river.
How are you feeling this morning, guys?
Oh, we're very excited, aren't we?
Yeah, we're looking forward to house number 3.
Mystery house. What do you think the mystery house is going to be?
I mean, it could be anything. It could be a building that needs to be demolished and we have to rebuild it, but it's on a great site.
So you're not afraid of rolling up your sleeves?
I'm not afraid of Plathy rolling up his sleeves at all.
That's very, very true. I've done 3 renovations now, and yeah, I've learned to leave him on the side.
No, I'm not afraid of rolling up my sleeves.
Let's hope Dominic is true to his word. We've travelled 9 miles south of Barnstaple, close to the village of High Bickington. The village is situated at the top of the River Tor Valley and has a pub, post office and a local shop. Set within extensive grounds, our mystery property is an 18th century coach house conversion that has lots of potential but could test our buyers' desire to carry out renovations to the absolute limit.
Whoa, look at the view.
That's a nice view.
Oh, my word.
Oh, yes. Now,
That's the
Now
best
we're
view
talking.
we've seen so far.
I'm glad, because this house has it. It's a project.
Uh-huh.
But I'm glad you love the view, because really it's all about the view and what you two are going to do with it.
My word.
It needs your special touch,
Right.
particularly yours, Plathy,
Okay, I'm happy to go with that.
to create something wonderful with it. But there are a few complications about this property.
Oh.
Always.
Oh.
One is that it's going to need a lot of your imagination to really bring it to life, I think. And 2 is that this part, the stables, which is the most substantial part, is at the moment 2 self-contained flats.
We can work with that.
Great. The house is impressive. It looks like it needs a little bit of work, and that's really what I think what I'd be interested to have a look at. But it's
I
got
like
character,
it.
it's got style.
I like it. This house is absolutely awesome, and I don't really care what it looks like inside. It's good enough for me.
I love the fact that you've said that. That's really wonderful.
While Plathy is very positive before she's even seen it, I'm wondering whether Dominic will have the same feeling once he views the inside of this property.
Ta-da!
Oh, my word, look at the floor.
Yes.
That's a grand entrance.
It's a grand entrance, isn't it?
Oh,
And these are the original Victorian stable tiles.
great.
It is an unusual space because it's
Yes.
not obviously a home.
Yes.
Could you imagine making it homely?
You could turn it into a marvellous family home, or even increase the bed and breakfast capacity.
And you've only seen the first room.
Oh,
I can't
right.
wait to see what you think about the rest of the rooms.
Oh, the floor continues.
The floor does continue. And here's your bigger room. This would have been where the carriages came.
Okay. It's a really big room, so that's nice.
It does feel quite dark in here, even though there's a lot of windows. So it's something that we'd obviously have to lighten up a little bit more.
Sorry, I just spotted the old sewing machine. My great-grandmother had one of those, and I still have it.
It's a sign. You have to buy the house.
Yes, that's actually a third sign I've seen.
What were the other
First
ones?
one is that I actually have a signed, cast iron sign that says the Old Coach House.
So it's literally a sign.
Yes. I've got exactly the same table that we've seen in the other room.
Oh, it's spooky
And
now.
then my great-grandmother's sewing machine.
Is it haunted as well?
Of course.
Well, actually, I can't promise them a ghost, but there is a good-sized kitchen, which could lift their spirits. However, I'm showing them the upstairs, which has a small box room and 3 other bedrooms of varying sizes, some lighter than others. They all flow off a landing with a long corridor, which leads to the family bathroom, ripe for renovation. But we're heading for the 4th bedroom.
This room actually used to be one huge room that's been divided
Yes.
into 2.
Oh, it's a bit dark and
It's like-
spooky.
It's like walking back in time.
So you've got 4 rooms here, but remember you've also got all the rooms in the front of the house and the stable as well. So it's probably 7 or 8 bedrooms all told.
You have to classify this as the mystery house of all mystery houses.
Well, thank you. Well, I was a bit worried that it might be a bit overwhelming for you because there's a lot to do.
No, it's not overwhelming. I love it.
There is, but there's an awful lot of history here, a lot of nostalgia.
The bones of the property are amazing.
It's very exciting.
She's
I'm so excited.
And if Plathy's singing the praises of the interior, I think both of them will be thrilled by the potential of what's outside.
Here you can see this is all extra agricultural buildings tacked on the back, but like an amazing stone and brickwork.
Yeah.
Here we have another very charming outhouse, and behind it another vast set of agricultural buildings behind.
Yeah.
So, what are your thoughts about something like this?
That's the rescue centre, isn't it?
I love you. You get it all so quickly.
Cows, kittens.
Does this inspire you to like have visions beyond?
Yes, absolutely.
With Plathy still enthused by this project of a house, Dominic might still need a bit of convincing. I'm hoping that the breathtaking views around the back of this property will be just the thing to do it.
I have to say that is a beautiful view. I do see quite a lot of views, but that's a really good one.
Absolutely.
That's the best part of the whole trip, is that
Yeah.
view?
Yeah.
You've got the river down here.
You got the River Tor, yes, that flows through. That's sadly not quite
yes,
your
yes.
land. But this property comes with 11 acres of land.
No.
Wow, that's good.
Is it too much?
No.
No, I mean, 11 acres, it looks very impressive.
How did you find this place?
We just stuck a pin in the map. It's easy. It's 11 acres. It's a huge house, of which we've only seen half, sadly, because this bit's tenanted. It's a lot of work on the outbuildings. How much do you think it's going to cost to start it off?
Well, this couldn't be within budget, so I'm going to say £600,000.
I see the state that the property's in, so I think it's going to be well below budget. But I'm then thinking about the cost of renovation. I'm going to say something like £350,000.
Oh, that's quite a spread.
Big difference. Yes.
Well, split the difference. It is exactly on budget. It's £500,000. And of course, you're right, you're going to have to put a lot of money in.
Exactly.
It's whether the long-term vision of all this in 20 years from now
Yes.
is worth the investment
Okay.
at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot to think about. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you back in to
Okay,
explore.
right.
Don't get lost.
Okay, we'll see you in a bit.
And indeed,
Thank you.
that
Excited!
was very exciting, as you can hear.
So, right at the top end of their budget of £500,000, this project offers a real challenge. They have said they could come up with extra funds for renovation work if needed, and with that in mind, this property is an excellent proposition. It has 4 bedrooms, as well as 2 attached self-contained apartments. Plenty of space inside for Plathy's crafts, extensive outbuildings, one of which can be renovated and turned into a gym, and 11 acres of land, so easily enough space for all those rescued animals.
Well, this house, I don't know where to begin. It's just absolutely fantastic. You brought me back to my childhood. There's so many things that remind me of my grandfather, and it's pulling at my heartstrings, and I don't know what's going to happen here. I'm a bit excited, I'm nervous. So we'll have to see what Dominic has to say. But maybe I can convince him. Who knows?
It's a big project, and there's a lot of history around it. It's a fantastic place. The thing that does concern me is it's right on budget. But unfortunately, it doesn't stop there, because to turn this into the sort of family home that we'd like will take another couple of £100,000. So we do need to have a look at this and step back and say, OK, we've got the head and the heart, and ultimately, who's going to win?
Oh, there you are.
Ah, how are the views from up there?
Oh, they're absolutely gorgeous.
Good, good. Well, I'm going to take you away from the Mystery House for some decision-making.
Right.
Come with me.
With its source on Exmoor, the River Exe flows south through Devon, before eventually reaching the Exe Estuary on the county's southern coast. The estuary here is a site of special scientific interest. but it's also a busy fishing harbour, with mackerel and bass being the main catch for anglers off Exmouth Beach. Setting a course through the carefully protected natural environment is Miles Blood Smythe, who's been a mussel farmer since 1996.
It looks beautiful from the surface. Is there something special going on underneath?
Oh, if you were to dive on it, yeah, you'd see fantastic diversity of life underwater. But once you've got a mussel bed, of course, the actual mussels themselves are like the trees in the rainforest. So they're providing the environmental niche, you know, the physical places for things to hide. And when they're filtering, they provide mud underneath them, so it settles out in amongst them. And the mud is the home for all the invertebrates. And then everything else lives in and around it. You get sponges on it and seaweed on it.
And how much of this is your playground for the mussels?
Probably about 60–70% of it, I suppose.
And is there something particularly good about the Ex in terms of mussels?
Well, I think the biggest thing with mussels is protection. They're physically protected here because it's enclosed. You've got Dawlish Warren, which is a nature reserve. You've got Exmouth right up to Topsham. And the whole thing is protected. So although it gets a bit wild in here, it's nothing like out to sea.
The boat used by Miles and his team is a French oyster barge, which hovers over the seabed and uses water pressure to knock the mussels off the mud and up onto their elevator. It's the antithesis of the invasive process of dredging and helps to protect the sensitive environment of the Ex estuary. Over a year, Miles handles around 400 tons of mussels, all grown in beds on estuary land rented from the Earl of Devon.
All the stuff that's in there is live, so not just the mussels, but the crab and everything else. So what we want to do now is add lots of water, and before we put it in the cleaner, to clean all the barnacles and everything off, we pick out anything that's still alive, any of the cockles or any of the crabs or anything like that, and they go back in. So it's a completely natural process. Then it goes through the grader, and what we want to do is we want the right size grade for our factory. So we want a 60mm mussel, nice and clean, shiny and black, no barnacles on it. By the time that's been purified and gone through by the boys in the unit, that'll be absolutely perfect and ready for the chef. So you can just, with confidence, you can just stick it in the pan and eat it.
And how long from the seabed to our plate in this restaurant, typically, how long is that?
This stuff was caught, you know, an hour ago, so it's been out of the water probably 24 hours by the time you get it.
Archaeological findings suggest that mussels have been used as a food for over 20,000 years. They've been cultivated in Europe since 1235, when Patrick Walton, an Irish sailor shipwrecked on the French coast, hung up nets to catch fish and found mussels stuck to the poles supporting the nets. So, with a successful catch, we head to the floating cafe for lunch.
There we go, gents.
Ah,
Well done.
Get stuck in.
straight from the rainforest. Ah, they're good lookers. It's the great thing with mussels, they provide their own cutlery.
Now, have you eaten better or fatter mussels than that before?
Of course not, Miles. They're actually really, really good.
That's the X for you. Fantastic.
With those mussels going down a treat, it's time to find out if Dominic and Plathy have come to a decision about treating themselves to a North Devon hideaway.
It's been lovely showing you around North Devon. The sun's come out, which is very nice, to send blessings to your house hunting. Can you remember back to the very first one?
Yes.
It was perfect, wasn't it, in so many ways?
That sounds
Yeah.
pretty positive.
Ready to move in. Nothing to do. Fantastic.
Now that was, as you say, one that you could just move straight into. Obviously, there wasn't much space for you to put your mark on it.
Yeah.
The second house, much more potential for putting your mark on it. What were your thoughts about that?
I like that one because of the 5 acres. It gives you more flexibility to have larger animals, maybe. And you could put your mark on the house.
The second one was a little bit overshadowed by the first. The first had a lot more character. The second, we loved the land, we loved the view, but obviously it had a lot of work to do to beat the first property in terms of style and character, which we both liked.
And it was expensive.
And it was over budget,
Yes.
as was the first one.
The Mystery House was, however, right on budget, although it was complicated in all sorts of other ways. What are your thoughts about that?
What a cracker. That's all I'm going to say. It's absolutely fantastic, but obviously the renovation costs may be too high. It's just a question of, do we have enough money to renovate it?
It was an amazing house. It really was a head and the heart type of property.
Did the heart or the head win out? What are your thoughts about what happens next?
Yeah, we need to talk about it. Seriously.
we're very good at stepping back and saying, okay, right, let's discuss the emotions, let's discuss the practicalities. You know, can we afford it? Because although it was on budget, it's not really in a state that we can live in. So do we need a few £100,000 more to live in it? And if that's the case, then it is over budget.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, although you did say that you would be happy to spend some money doing up something
Yes, we
if
did.
the location and the land was right. So do you think that the Mystery House is something that you could seriously proceed on?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
More than the first house?
I think they're both worth investigating further.
Excellent. Well, I do hope that your cool, analytical stepping back doesn't dampen the enthusiasm that you've both shown.
Yeah.
And that we see you very soon here in North Devon.
Yeah.
I think the county deserves you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Considering that Plathy and Dominic had never actually been to North Devon, I think we can claim this as a great triumph. Because they may well have turned down 100 properties on the internet, but here, in situ, I think they may have slightly fallen in love with the place. And I'm crossing my fingers for the Mystery House. I really want to see what Dominic's business brain does with that place. If you've been intrigued by our adventures in rural Britain, then make sure you tune in next time for more Escape to the Country.
Well, with the mystery property, Dominic's head won out over Plathy's heart. And so their North Devon house hunt continues. If you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland or England and need our help, please apply online.
This beautiful part of the countryside was the inspiration for one of the great books of the 19th century. It's a fictional tale of romance and dastardly deeds, and its heroine's name became synonymous with this lovely landscape. Find out who she was and where I am in just a moment.
Today I'll be helping a dynamic pair of young retirees find a remote country retreat. And we're off to a cracking start with our first house.
If you were to design a really nice, perfect country house, it would be like this.
And our mystery property steals the show before they even step inside.
This house is absolutely awesome, and I don't really care what it looks like inside. It's good enough for me.
Today we're in North Devon, and this is Lorna Doone country, named after the famous novel by R.D. Blackmore, published in 1869. Lorna, of course, is the central character, and she is kidnapped right at the beginning of the book by the wicked Doone clan. And then through the twists and turns of the plot over years, she falls in love with a local farmer before the dramatic climax where her true identity is revealed. Now, the book was such a hit that it's transcended its fictional roots and become synonymous with this beautiful landscape. In fact, it's even called Lorna Doone country on most modern maps. But North Devon is more than just Lorna. The dramatic landscape, beautiful villages and outdoor lifestyle makes Devon the #1 place to retire. In fact, almost a quarter of the population are retirees, which is 31% above the UK average. And that has an impact on house prices, of course. A detached house here costs around £296,000, which is about £40,000 above the national average. Still, retiring or not, there are beautiful properties to be had. Take a look.
£295,000 could buy you this 3-bedroom thatched cottage in Colebrook. With many period features, such as a wood-burning stove, natural wood flooring and exposed timbers, it also offers a pretty garden. This 4-bedroom property in Crediton is on the market for £575,000. It has plenty of character, featuring a charming stone-built Inglenook fireplace in the sitting room and a high-spec kitchen which is topped off by a range cooker. The bedrooms boast exposed beams and whitewashed walls. And outside, there's stunning countryside views. Or for a wallet-stretching £735,000, this 5-bedroom property in Winkley could be yours. The interior is full of rustic charm and it offers far-reaching views towards Dartmoor, as well as 2 self-contained holiday cottages.
A lovely spread of Devon's finest properties, but who are the lucky couple who are planning to move here? Let's meet them.
Former business consultant Dominic and Spanish-born translator Plathy moved into their 4-bedroom house in York in 1997. And a year later, they tied the knot at Gretna Green. Having achieved their ambitions with successful international careers, they've now given up work and are ready to start the next chapter of their lives.
This house means a lot to me because I have decorated it all. I've learned how to DIY through all the little projects in this house, so I am going to be very sad to leave it. But it's time to move on.
Well, we've actually both taken early retirement, and we have a lot of free time on our sides. There's a lot of hobbies we'd like to pursue, and we thought now is a really good time to move.
Their pastimes are many and varied, and they're going to need a lot of space for each one.
Well, as you can see, I'm into a lot of different crafts like mosaic making and sewing. So everything takes up so much space that I would love a room just for my things, so I don't have to tidy up every single time.
This gym I built about a year ago. I do a lot of kickboxing, and I train in here pretty much every day. So we're